Alright, so we are still pushing on with the XS 850 Yamaha triple. So I got some universal petcocks, just regular old lawnmower petcocks, and just got these little clear fuel filters that I'm gonna put on both sides. And the problem is with these petcocks here, I put some gas in this tank. They do not shut off. They're supposed to be vacuum controlled, and they're only supposed to operate when you have it on and reserve, because it has this little vacuum pumper on the back side. So that don't work. You can put it on PRI. It's hard to see. PRI is actually prime. You can prime your carburetors, and then you can put it on reserve or on. And as the vacuum from the engine pumps in these little tubes here on the back side of this petcock, it's almost like a fuel pump. It pumps the gas into the carburetor. But those are not working. As soon as you pour gas in there, it is just pouring out, and you can't shut it off. So probably can just get some regular petcocks for that gas tank, just on and off, and do away with the diaphragm pumper. You don't really need the diaphragm pump because it can gravity feed straight down into the carburetors. But anyway, I just put these on there just in case we have any problems with the carburetors flooding. You can cut the gas off, and that way it won't just keep pouring gas out of the carburetor. So what I gotta do now is put the air box in. Got the air box out of the other bike, nice and clean. Took it outside, cleaned it out. These boots are kind of hard, so I'm gonna have to kind of play with them. And but it basically just bolts in from the side right there on each side. And it has a filter down in here, which really the filter was still good, just had some cobwebs on it. So I'm gonna get this box in the bike, get the carburetors hooked back up, and try and get the gas tank on it. Got a new battery in it, so that's good to go. I went ahead and swapped handlebars with the other bike. The other handlebars was all rusty and discolored, so we put these handlebars off of the free bike, which these are not that bad. They got a few little rust spots, but we got the grips off the other bike on there. It had those little bicycle grips on there. I don't know what they were, but I got to hook the headlight up, and the headlight, I got the headlight switch hooked up. But all in all though, it's starting to look like a motorcycle. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this air box in, get these carburetors hooked up, get the gas tank on, and pretty soon we'll be ready to do the brakes. Hopefully I can get some kind of brakes on it. I know they were kind of stuck when I got it. We kind of tapped on the calipers, freed them up. I don't know about this front master cylinder though. It looks kind of rough. But maybe we can get some kind of brakes where we can cruise it around the block. So I'm gonna get back on that and see how far we can get. Alright, got the brake bleeder hooked up. See if we can get anything pumping into here. Should be able to pull some fluid. Might take it a while. Let me go up there and give it a couple pumps. What I might do is tie the master cylinder handle in. That way the master cylinder is open and allow the fluid to just constantly travel. And you got nothing yet. It's one thing about opening up the system like that, because you get a lot of air in it. Let's crack open these lines and see if we got any fluid coming out. Should have brake fluid. Ain't got no brake fluid coming from the top. Huh. You should have brake fluid leaking down. Hopefully that master cylinder ain't stopped up. We ain't got no fluid coming down. You make sure it's got brake fluid still in it. Full of brake fluid. Getting bubbles up here. Anything leaking down there? No? Not a drip. Master cylinder might have to come apart and be clean on the inside. So let me play around with that for a minute. We're not getting any fluid coming down from the master cylinder to the brake line. So what could be wrong is it could be stopped up in there. I'm pumping it though, and I see air bubbles, dusty air bubbles. See that? It might just have air in the lines. So I'm gonna take this line off here, see if we got anything leaking out, and then I'm gonna continue to try and bleed. And you'll see it when I get it done. Whether it's gonna have front brakes or not. Alright, so after about an hour and a half messing with the front brakes. I finally got them bled up. I had to end up taking the calipers off of both sides, completely disassemble them, clean them, put them back on, and they're not sticking and the brakes are holding. So threw a little black paint on those carburetors because they looked horrible. Kind of threw some paint on the air box and put the side covers on, which those badges on the side covers actually go on the gas tank that goes on the bike. Somebody had took them off the gas tank and put them on the side. It's actually supposed to say XS 850, I think, or 850 special. I don't remember. So if I find those badges, we'll put the correct ones on there if I can get them at a good deal. But got the seat on it. I got the gas top fixed. I ended up taking some of the tumblers out of that lock, and I was able to make the gas top lock with the key that we got for the ignition. So looks pretty good. It looks like a 79 XS 850. So still some more cleanup to do, like polish the pipes in the front fender, headlight housing. But just right now, I mean, it looks way better than it did in the beginning when we dug it out of the back of that shop. Like I say, I'm gonna find those badges and I'm gonna put these badges on the tank. That one's broke. So I hate that tank's got a dent in it and the paint's kind of discolored, but I could have put the original tank back on, but the paint's chipping off of it and I would have to take those petcocks off, and I didn't want to bother them because I figured they'll start leaking from the base. So if I get some new petcocks, maybe I can touch up paint that tank because it'll match the rest of the bike, kind of a dark gold, but whoever did the paint job, it ain't just, whatever. That's the near future. So our next thing is to get it out, test drive it, see how it rides. So we will see what kind of power this 3-cylinder's got, and hopefully we don't have any other problems out of it. It'd be a good cruiser for me or somebody. I don't know yet, but we'll see how she cruises around and go from there. Alright fellas, or may I say ladies and gents, here it is, the XS 850 all together. I kind of touched up some of the paint on the frame a little bit, try to clean it up some, make it look more presentable. Still got some more cleanup to do on it though, but fuel petcock on this side started leaking, so I had to shove a rag in there. It's leaking right where the gaskets going back of that diaphragm pumper. I knew they probably gonna start leaking, so I'm just gonna go ahead and order 2 aftermarket ones and get it over with. But take it for a cruise. She should sound like that. Little cold nature. That sounds like a Harley. Sounds like a V-twin. Motor sounds good, no rattles. Got a small exhaust leak up on the bottom, but I'm not worried about that. So I'm gonna get it out and take it for a cruise. Alright, so we did determine that the stator was bad. It's not charging the battery, so I changed the voltage regulator out. That didn't do anything. Checked all the connections, so went to the almighty parts bike outside and got the stator out of one of the parts bikes. It's in this cover here, 3 bolts. Holds it to this cover. And I think, well, it's got 2 kind of windings. This thing here, it's like a big coil. And then you got these outer coil, or a coil, or stator coil here. So I guess we'll be changing both of them. I don't know which one. Should we change both? I don't know which one is for charging. I would say maybe this is for charging because it's got those 3 wires. And maybe this is for lighting, I guess. But anyway, it's behind this cover. It's a dry stator, so you don't have to worry about oil coming out. And the wiring runs all the way up under the bike. And these little looms runs up the back side of the motor, runs across there and plugs in. Plugs in right here, and this plug right here. So it's kind of weird how they run that wiring all the way up under there, but it's got to go back the same way, because if it don't, it can get on the pipe and burn that harness. So I'm going to start by just laying on the ground, unhooking all the little looms that the wire is tucked in, and get it unplugged, and then we'll get the stator cover off. I'm kind of thinking about just putting the stator over in this cover. I mean, would it make any sense? Somebody spray painted this motor silver or aluminum color, and we can always re-spray it. I don't see a point of taking that stator out of this cover just for paint. We can probably clean this up a little bit anyway. It's got some dirt dauber's nests in there. Look like we'll have to blow that out. I mean, I don't really see the point of unbolting all that, getting all the wires out of shape where they're sitting, just cut some silver paint. So we'll just leave the stator in the cover. Just change out the cover and everything. We'll clean it up. Maybe we can kind of respray it. This is scratched up anyway, so it don't really matter. Save a bunch of time. So I'm gonna get this cleaned out, get this cover off, show you what's behind here, and we'll get this thing hooked up, and hopefully we're charging it, because that's probably why they parked this bike anyway, because it wasn't charging. Also, we got a new turn signal headlight switch, because this one's broken. It don't do nothing, and the horn button's broke, and the high beam, low beam don't work. So that will require taking the gas tank back off to run that harness back through, plug in up under the gas tank. My main concern is getting the charging system good on it. So let me get the hooking stuff. I mean, it's kind of hard to get a camera up on there and show you the aftermath. Alright, so I got the wire harness all undone up under the engine. It runs right up under the block, and it's got these little metal pieces of strip metal with 10mm bolts. You can kind of fold them back with your screwdriver, and the wire harness runs up under there, runs to the back right here. Matter of fact, we'll go ahead and pull the plugs. Kind of a real long harness. Most of the time the stator is on the left side of the bike, This one's on the right side. This one. So let's pull that down. Pull something else down. Oh, that's the battery drain. Overflow hose. I mean. It's right there. Runs up. Goes in that hook right over, kind of like between the exhaust split. Alright, so let's get this off. Like I say, this is dry side. Other side is the clutch side. Well, actually, take that back. The other side has a pickup coil for your ignition. There's actually a timing plate over there, and there's a pickup coil. I'll probably throw in a picture of what it looks like, because I accidentally took that side loose on the other bike. And I was like, wait a minute, this is not the stator. Uh-oh. That looks a little wet. Shouldn't be no oil over here. Unless it's got a crankshaft seal leaking. When I pulled the other one, you can see it was dry, but that bike did lay on its side for a long time. Maybe it's just a screw because it runs through this bigger housing that covers the clutch. Shouldn't be. Nothing in there. Got more. That hose, this little metal shield, keeps the wire all nice and tidy right here. So let me get this off my hand. I was like, uh-oh. That ain't good. Don't need no surprises. If it was gonna leak, it would have leaked now. Yeah, it's just where the screws go through this cover. There's one single wire. It's probably your battery light wire. Stator looks pretty good in there, but it's not charging. I think I put the meter on it. You're supposed to get 50 to 70 ohms or amps out of the stator. I was getting like 13. Got some long wire harness there. So here's this stator here. It looks clean in there. It's actually better than the other one. The other one had a little dirt dauber's nest. It does smell kind of weird. But this would be your, I guess you would call this the magneto or flywheel? Okay, flywheel, I guess. Flywheel. This is real clean. Got a little surface rust. Probably can clean it up a little bit more. And I'm gonna clean up the cover on the other one. We'll just stick the whole thing on there. Like I said, I didn't see any burnt wires on the other one. And now the stator we're going to use came off the bike that was laying behind the container up at the motorcycle shop when we got this bike. The free bike we got, the first one, this harness here was melted. So that's telling me that it probably had an overcharging problem and it got hot. And the stator, I mean not the stator, the rotor's regulator had a crack on the back of it. So something got hot on it. So I didn't want to use it. So we're going to use the one off the other bike. So I'm going to get that all cleaned up on the inside. Get it on there. Plug it all back up. Fire this baby up. And hopefully we're charging. But as you can see, it's nice and clean. There's no oil leakage. So that means the crankshaft seal behind the flywheel or whatever, it's holding out pretty good for this bike to be a, I think this is an 80 model, 7980. So we don't see any oil leakage, because if it was, another thing can mess up a dry stator, start getting oil in there, and that the oil heat up this coil and they can like bake it, get down in the windings and stuff, because this is a dry stator. Now they do have a wet stator, but I think they're designed a little bit different. I'm not sure, but it's nice and dry in there, nice and clean. We'll probably put a little Permatex on there, because this don't even have a gasket. I can see how that other one had a little surface rust. So we'll put a little Permatex on there on the block, and like I say, hopefully this bad boy will be charging the battery. We'll put the meter on it, make sure. Charging now. So as the saga continues with the Yamaha XS 850, been doing a little cleanup on, a little polishing here and there. I got the turn signals working, and I went ahead and masked off the engine case covers, pulled off the kickstart and the foot peg, shifter, just kind of hit it with some of this engine paint. That turned out really smooth. Cleaned it up real good. It's got like that satin aluminum look. I didn't get the middle part of the block because the carburetors and stuff is on there, but I should have got the valve cover. I don't know, I might be able to get the valve cover. It'd be kind of hard to do with the coils and stuff, but we'll see. But just got this Duplicolor aluminum engine paint, and that is it. 1015, well 1615, I'm sorry, I looked through the camera. Aluminum, and man, it's got that satin look. Like this side here has some scrapes on it. This is the stator cover that came off the other bike. Somebody had laid it down a little bit, and I don't want to risk taking the stator out that cover and the wires break off or something mess up. So we're just gonna run that cover, but I did mask off. There's like a black circle right here. I masked that off. Probably have to get some of the silver aluminum paint off. Masked off the oil level sight glass. So I'm waiting on, I got some new mirrors coming for it. They're supposed to be XS 850 factory mirrors. They're used, good mirrors. Waiting on them to come. And also I'm waiting on a new petcock for the gas tank, because the one that I was running just kept leaking. So I'm gonna go ahead and replace that. And like I said, I'm just cleaning it up. I got some highway pegs off of the other bike that actually go across the front. It's like a bar with 2 pegs. I'm putting them on. I'm gonna put the horns back on where they go. Somebody had drilled some holes right here and put the horns up there. That's not where they go. They're supposed to go right. Let's see, where did they go? They go right here. I don't know if you can see, it's kind of dark. It's got 2 threaded hose. So they're supposed to go on each side. There's the wire harness for it. And I got the horns kind of shined up. Painted them a couple days ago. So these are actually the horns off of the parts bike. The horns they had on there wasn't the right horns anyway. So we're gonna put everything we can off the other 2 bikes on this bike to make it factory. I think the highway pegs was an add-on. I got pegs off the rear for the other bike. This one's broke. This one had the aftermarket Yamaha pegs. And I hate it's broke. I mean, I probably can find some on eBay. Pretty sure they still sell them. But I'm just gonna put the factory foot pegs back on it. Still kind of polishing, cleaning. And like I say, I had to really work with those turn signals to get them to work with the new switch. Had to kind of run some wires from the back to the front. So that took me a while, but I got the turn signals working. The brake light, headlight. So slowly but surely it's coming together. So once the mirrors get here, we get them on, the fuel petcock, and I might paint the valve cover. I don't know. I really don't want to get overspray everywhere. If not, I'll just leave it like it is. Because you have to paint the valve cover and get part of the head, which somebody did before. And it's possible I could get some paint up there, just kind of block it off like it is, and kind of just misty spray it. I mean, I might try it. It's gonna be tight though. I might try to get some of that paint up there, kind of make the motor look a little better. If not, we'll just leave it like it is. I might get some aluminum polish, like some Mothers. See, that's coming off. Polish it up. I mean, we ain't trying to make a show bike, but we're just trying to make it look better than what it did when it first came here. So once I get everything on, we'll be ready for a road test. So I'm gonna keep watching that mailbox, and let's get all this stuff on this thing. Alright, so I went ahead and painted the rest of the motor. I painted the valve cover, the cylinder head. I got up inside, up under the carburetors the best I could without getting overspray everywhere. So it looks pretty good. That aluminum paint looks real good. I didn't really get the front of the motor, kind of hard to get up in there where the pipe's at. But turned out real smooth. Got to put, like I say, the gear shifter back on, the foot pegs, the kickstarter, and polish up some of the chrome. And should be looking like a cool motorcycle once again. I don't know if I might want to take that off and paint it. It's kind of mildew looking. I could just polish it with some Mothers, but just want to wake the engine back up since it was kind of dull looking, and somebody had painted it with some aluminum paint, and it was starting to peel off in some spots. But hey, I mean, for what it is, it looks good. So we'll just wait on the other stuff to come and put it back together. Alright, so with the 850, been waiting on some parts. Finally got them in. Some of them got lost in the mail. Had to turn around, reorder, get refunds. But anyway, we got new fuel petcocks for both sides of the tank. I think one of these is from eBay. One of these is from Amazon. They're really the same thing. They're strictly for 850. So we're going to put both of these on both sides, because the one on the left side, I believe, leaks, which is that one. as soon as you crank the bike up, turn the gas on, it starts leaking. I tried tightening the screws up on back of it, and that didn't work. So you can buy them together or separate. So I was just going to replace the one side, but one of them got lost, so I had to reorder. And then a couple days later, the other one came. So we're going to put both of them on there. Got some mirrors for it. Same thing. A set of mirrors got lost. I had to end up ordering some from Amazon. Amazon is getting to be way better than eBay, except for the used stuff. So these are just some cheap mirrors here. I got another set coming from Amazon, but I couldn't tell. Some of them, the threads is different where it screws in. So I ordered another set that has the universal adapters for the for your clutch and front brake purchase. So I think this is going to be the same thread. I gotta sprout it out there, but I think those are going to work. I think it's 10mm threads. So new mirrors, new fuel petcock. I got everything back on it. The foot pegs, the highway pegs I robbed off the parts bike. The rear pegs I robbed off one of the parts bikes. So we got the turn signals working. We got the horns on it, which the horns don't work. I think it might be up in that handle. I have to do some more digging around on that, but headlight works, turn signal works, brakes work, engine's been painted. So things are looking real good for this old girl. So I'm gonna go ahead and fix the gas tank, get it back on there, get the mirrors on, and I'll be ready to really cruise this thing around on a nice cool day. Got a little bit more cleanup to do, chrome polishing. I've been doing a little bit as I go, but not nothing too major. But for an old bike, she runs real good, and I know the tank is a different color than the side covers and all that, but we'll worry about that later. Right now, let's just get it where it's road worthy and have some fun with it. So I got the original fuel petcock shutoff switch out. Now look at the difference in these filters. Now this is the aftermarket one, and I researched, and that's how they look. The original one, it's got this big tall filter that keeps a lot of trash out. The aftermarket one just got these little dinky ones, but that's all I can find on it. So we're gonna have to run what we got. So I'm gonna put the new ones in. I gotta clean this surface up a little bit so the O-rings won't be leaking. And they come with these little universal fittings, I guess, so you can, like, you got the straight out one, and you got the one that's like a 90 degree. I guess that's what you would say. And that's how this one was. The other difference is this is not the PRI vacuum. This is just a regular on and off switch. With the PRI and vacuum petcock, like I said in the first video, if you watched it, is a vacuum line that comes off the cylinder head that goes to the petcock, and this acts as like a fuel pump. So you can put it on PRI, which is prime, which is right there. That'll fill the system up, and then you can just turn it on and it'll run like a fuel pump kind of diaphragmy thing, or you can just run it on PRI and you won't have to worry about that. So I just been turning it on PRI and just letting it continually drain. This side stopped up, the other side, the side that actually works, but it leaks. So this is just regular on and off, but you can see the base of it's got that little O-ring. Same base. I wish I had this filter on there, but it won't work. So we had to go what we got. So I'm gonna get those on there and get the gas tank back on the bike and hope for the best. So I've got them on there. These, you can also change the fittings from each side to whatever side you want to run the fuel hose on. That's why it comes with this little cap, block off cap. You just take that out of there, and I had to put the hose fitting on this side on both of them because they're facing in towards the front of the tank. So they come with these little fittings here with little washers. It's like 1/4 inch line, so I really didn't have to change the fuel hose. So they're kind of universal, but they're for the Yamaha XS, I think 650, 750, 850, and 1100. I think all of them had that dual petcock setup. One of them's for, I guess if the gas gets too far down in the tank on this side, you can just flip this one on. So the way the tank is made, the gas sits in these pockets and it won't swoosh from other side to the other side, you know, because it's got this big hump in the middle. So with the dual petcocks, you can turn one side on and it'll let the gas on this side come out, and then when you get low on this side, you can turn that side on. So that's how they made it. Alright, here she is, all put together and ready to cruise. So I'm going to take it on about a 45-mile trip. I'm going to head up to Aka Butler Lake, where we been before. If you watched the DRZ 400 video, me and a buddy of mine, we're going to go up there, see what's going on around the lake, and take this thing out on a good cruise. See what she does. So I've been riding around the neighborhood. She seems to have done fine. Got everything back on it. Still needs a little polishing, but hey, I mean, this bike set up for many years in the back of a shop, and so I mean, it's not a full restore. This is just a get her back on the road thing. Maybe I'll sell it or trade it, or maybe somebody end up with it and put a lot more use in it than I will. But it's good to save stuff like this, because he was probably going to send this thing to the scrap yard. But we did use all the parts off the other two bikes, and that helped out a lot. A little close-up view of this side. So the gas tank needs painting still. I mean, I found a couple gas tanks on eBay, probably $100, $200, some real decent ones, but we're gonna cruise it like it is. So alright, so I'm gonna get ready to get geared up and cruise. It's nice weather, so let's see what this 850 will do out on the public streets. take off sometimes, but I put some seafoam in the gas tank, filled it up, so hopefully that seafoam will get down in there, and if it is a little clog in one of those carbs, even though we soaked them and cleaned them and put a kit in them, maybe that seafoam will help it out. But once it gets past that little lag spot, it is gone. So I just wanted to ride it a little bit, make sure it's going to be alright before I get too far from the house and the sucker break down. Charging system's working, lights working, so we're good to go. So here we go. made it 45 miles from the house, so it's still running good. Made it all the way to Arca Butler Lake Dam. Alright guys, so the 850 Yamaha made it to Acapulco Lake. It's dark, the water's still low, and it made it. So now I gotta make it back. Hopefully it makes it back. So we'll holler at y'all later. Y'all stay tuned. You might see more of the 850. You might not. I don't know. But y'all got any comments or questions, or somebody might want to buy it, let me know. You see now that it's roadworthy, I guess. It made it. Alright. Well, the old 850 did make it back. And it runs pretty good, like I said. A little fluttery on takeoff sometimes, but it does improve half throttle, and you get it up on the highway and this thing will scream. So it's a good running bike, like I said, and I don't know really what I'm gonna do with it, like I said also, but I might hang on to it for a while just to get out and play around on. But time will tell. But it's back on the road, and if you see it again, you see it again. If you don't, then you know that it's no longer here. But for now, it's going to go in the stash. Alright, here she is, all put together and ready to cruise. So I'm going to take it on about a 45-mile trip. I'm going to head up to Acapulco Lake, where we been before. If you watched the DRZ 400 video, me and a buddy of mine, we're going to go up there, see what's going on around the lake, and take this thing out on a good cruise. See what she does. So I've been riding around the neighborhood. She seems to done fine. Got everything back on it. Still needs a little polishing, but hey, I mean, this bike set up for many years in the back of a shop, and so I mean, it's not a full restore. This is just a get her back on the road thing. Maybe I'll sell it or trade it, or maybe somebody end up with it and put a lot more use in it than I will. But it's good to save stuff like this, because he was probably going to send this thing to the scrap yard. But we did use all the parts off the other two bikes, and that helped out a lot. A little close-up view of this side. So the gas tank needs painting still. I mean, I found a couple gas tanks on eBay, probably $100, $200, some real decent ones, but we're gonna cruise it like it is. So alright, so I'm gonna get ready to get geared up and cruise. It's nice weather, so let's see what this 850 will do out on the public streets. So the old Yamaha is getting traded for something else. It didn't take me that long, huh? So I got somebody wanting to trade me something for it, and so I'm just gonna pass it on. It's a good bike, and like I say, I got two other street bikes, and I decided, since I got somebody that wants the thing, just go ahead and trade it. I mean, when you're trying to sell something, nobody don't want it, but then when you got an opportunity that somebody wants it, let it go. But like I say, it's a good old bike. Hopefully it does him some justice. He said he needed a ride, his car broke down or something, so we're gonna just go ahead and let the 850 go. So that's gonna be it on the 850 again. So Maybe we run into another one, we'll scoop it up. We still got the other parts bikes, so maybe we'll scoop it up and try and build another one. But until then, 850s is going to be out of the category on the channel for right now. All right. So there goes the Yamaha XS 850. Traded to a young man who needed a motorcycle. I thought he said he needed a car, but I don't know. Anyway, we traded for this 2004 Honda 400EX. He said it had a bad oil leak and it leaks down the pipe, and I see what's wrong with it. One of the valve cover screws is just barely hanging on for dear life right there. He said he got it 3 months ago, and he said he thought it needed a motor, and I told him, I said, man, you need to check the bolts, and he just said he was tired of fooling with it. But looked like might have a big bore kit, because that head looks kind of new, but you can see the bolt right there. It is loose, so somebody's probably put a big bore kit in it and then tighten it down. Then the valves are kind of rattly, so it probably needs a valve adjustment. It's missing the cover to the carburetor. It's missing a master cylinder. But we got all this on that other bike, on those other bikes. Here's the side plastics, the rear caliper. That's all it is. I mean, it cranks right up and runs. It needs the chain adjusted. It looks like it's got a new chain on it. But yeah, even trade. He said he wanted a motorcycle for some reason, and we got this thing. So now we got 3 400EXs. So we'll get it back. We'll see if we can tighten up and get this thing running.